Welcome back to the Garth Riley Show. This is the third segment, our final segment right now, for until we have our guest back in again. Linda Patterson Kelly joins us, barrister, solicitor, family court law, and welcome back. This is the last part, and then I'm sure the emails will fly in, and we'll have to have you back here handling all of them. Stories, where there's a story I know that's going to be coming as part of our show, where the spouse, there was a common law marriage. Or a common law relationship, in which case there's a whole thing about assets. Somebody seems to, in this case, the husband, according to this story, was very savvy on how the court rules worked and would constantly get it delayed through some tactics. 2 years later, they're now maybe going to start going to trial. Do you hear this kind of thing?
There is a situation in the family court in Ontario where they try to limit how long a file can go. It doesn't matter. They go and go and go.
It's an idea.
It's an idea. It's that they try to keep things moving along. We have stages, but it does take time. Get your disclosure. That's always a key issue. Get as much disclosure up front. And share the disclosure. Quit trying to hide things.
But that's natural.
Yeah, I know, but that's not going to get the job done.
But, okay, for one person wants to get the job done, because then the person that's trying to conceal is usually trying to mitigate what kind of losses they're going to get, because maybe they have the lion's share. Mm-hmm. Tell me how willing they go, okay, cool.
No, nobody goes, okay, cool.
Right.
We generally have a judge saying, you're going to produce it by this date, and then they don't produce it, and then, okay, there's going to be a penalty if you don't produce it by this date, and then they don't produce it. And then you'd have a judge say, okay, I'm going to impute your income.
What does that mean?
So a judge can say, you wouldn't produce your accurate income, so I'm going to guess you're making X dollars, and I'm going to make you pay child support based on X dollars. Then, and you can always tell if that was a right-on decision or it was too low. If it was too low, they don't oppose it. If it was too high, then you get the disclosure.
Okay, so now that's court tricks that go on. There's shenanigans, there's strategies. Come on, law is all about strategy, is it not?
Of course.
Yeah.
But you have judges that are, imagine having to do that job. It's a horrible job.
Sure it is. Well, how do you even know what to believe? Is it more a matter of fact, or somebody saying, how does the judge not get involved in the emotion of it all? Or perhaps be so disenfranchised going, you know what, whatever your story is, okay, A, B, C, next.
Neither party is likely to get exactly what they want. The judge has, and I'd really like to point this out because this is really important. When it comes to children, the paramount interest of the judge is the best interests of the children. Now, the judge has to decide what those best interests are. So, what we need people to do is to be as realistic and as selfless as possible in getting all the information before the court. Because this is about the kids. Everything else is just money.
One of the guests we had on, and it's on the YouTube already, had said that there was, he'd become, I call him like a lay lawyer himself, because he was bankrupt. He had to go bankrupt because of the legal bills that he was facing, according to his story. Again, I have no way to substantiate it. But he was also saying that he requested court documents of transcripts. Now, I don't know if you can make comment to this if you can't tell me, but he said he requested court documents, and the judge had the ability to go in and edit out comments before he was able to get it back, and he knew was on. He said he was legally allowed to record, according to a law that he had read, that he could record because he was representing himself. He had no lawyer. And then all of a sudden he said that something along the line where that it was common knowledge, I've heard this a couple of times right now, that the judges can take the dictated, the transcripts and have them edited.
I've never heard that.
Never heard that, okay. Like this guy was adamant that this had happened. It sounded to me a little off, but, and he was thinking that the court was against him.
I have seen shenanigans in the courtroom by unrepresented people. Okay, so
he's unrepresented. He was broke. according to him, and now he had to represent himself. Of course, you're saying he could have used legal aid.
You can, if you can, but some people just think they're smarter than lawyers and they want to do it on their own.
Okay.
And they're entitled to do that. And for everybody, the general public should know that there's a website out there called CANLII, CANLII. You can go into that website, and you were talking about precedent earlier. You can look at the precedent. You can see what the decisions have been made. You can see what decisions a particular judge has made on a particular issue.
Really?
Absolutely.
They have their own like playlist that
You
can say.
can go if you want to see what a particular judge ruled on a particular issue. You can go in and you can plug in the numbers and the words, and you can get cases on that, and you can educate yourself that way.
It's kind of like they got their stat sheet. So what about but you have no choice of what judge you get.
Absolutely not.
So you're in there and you go, the hanging judge. I'm just thinking about the old Western.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, better to know what they think like. You
Okay,
can
that's
go,
fair. So you can profile them.
You can go in and you can say, wow, if that judge appears to me as I read this case that they are very concerned about this issue. Well, that issue's front and center in my case. How am I going to present that to the court?
Okay, strategy, tactic.
And if you don't think they're going to rule in your favor, then you want to think real clear about how you're going to present things. Am I going to make an offer to the other side? Nothing prevents you from making an offer to settle.
Interesting point. So you're in the process of the court thing, and everybody's settled up and ready to duke it out, and all of a sudden you go, wait a minute, we should have a meeting. Maybe we can pull out. You
Absolutely.
wait a minute.
Even mid-trial.
Your facial feature changed when you said that.
Yeah.
Have you seen it happen?
Mid-trial, we have mid-trial conferences, and we settle as much as possible. We settle far more than we ever have to have decisions made by.
Really?
Oh, and it's so exciting when you are mid-trial and some issues have come up, and maybe we're all looking at it in a slightly different way. Or maybe you've watched the judge and you've seen that the judge has reacted in a certain way to certain information, and you just say to your client, time to settle. And then you go. You can always, right up until the judge signs the order, you can work on a resolution.
I know we're jumping around a bit. Serves my ADD personality very well, but we want to get as much done in this last segment. I think we only got about like a minute and a half left. When the judge gives that notice, says, okay, you have to do this, but the person doesn't comply. And it's not always about money. Okay, you have a story. I just watched your face.
Well,
okay.
If you're in contempt, you're in contempt. You can go to jail if you're in
How
contempt.
many people have done that?
Lots of people will go to jail. I mean, if you get a judge mad enough. But, let's try and settle. If we've only got a couple of seconds here, my advice to everybody is let's try and get it settled. Let's get realistic. Stop burdening the courts and sit down and think about all we have to take care of, and we can take care of it. We can make a good resolution for people.
I think we got to go, but I want to come back and do a quick 5-minute segment. Do I have time? We're going to ask our student. We can do it. When I come back, we'll do a quick one. Common law versus marriage contracts. Okay, let's do that.
Sure.
People will stay on that topic. Probably the one to get the most hits. All right, stay with us when we be back on that one other segment with Linda Patterson-Kelly and this show that may save you some time, money, maybe even your future. Stay with us.